Hi everyone, it's Bobby. I have completed my Craftology project using the What's Cooking collection by Tammy at Country Creations. Please excuse the voice. I have a horrible head cold, but I'm fine. I promised that I would get this posted on Saturday, so it is Friday evening. It's going to take me a while to get it edited and uploaded, but it will be posted for you tomorrow morning. Oh, I'm all nasally and I'm trying my best to get through this. On the front of the box, I made this flower, and this is made using the bow punch. And I just have one of the cut-aparts. There was a full sheet of these cut-aparts, and I cut them all out. They had a black background, and I just left a small black border on each one of them. And I cut out some of the cherries from this sheet. And on the bottom of the box, I added some little, these little wood pieces are Scrabble chips, and then I put these little, these little clear feet on there so that you can sit it on your counter, and if anything's spilled, it won't absorb the water and run it. I'm so sorry. Then on the back, I've made another one of these little flowers, and we made those in the tutorial. Excuse me. I added a couple little flags that say family favorites and best recipe ever. And then in this accordion folder, I have 2 acetate sheets, and I'll show you what we're going to do with those. These make it so that you can lay your recipe out on the counter without it getting soiled while you're making your recipe. So let me lay it down this way. It's not going to lay completely flat because I have that flower on the back. Whoops, that one's coming out. On the front, I have a bow with 2 of the little charms that Tammy sent. I did the mixer and the little beater, and then this is held by a magnet, and you could actually put a picture or a recipe up here if you want. That goes right there. So let's look. I was only able to get 7 in there instead of the 10 that I intended, and that's my fault because I used so many pop dots. But I thought it looked so much better with the pop dots. Excuse me. Okay, on the first one I have the cherry paper, and I just typed out "Oh my cherry pie" and used one of my flag dies. And then this little recipe sticks back up under here, and that is a cherry pie recipe. And I put the ingredients at the top and the directions at the bottom. And then I've got so many fingerprints on these from working with them, I need to get the Windex out and get my fingerprints off of them. But when you lay it on your counter, you can slide your recipe in there and it will stay clean, and you can see your ingredients and your directions. Then if it's a really long recipe, you still have room on the back for more of the directions. So I thought that was a really cool idea. And then I made a shorter, wider one for different size recipes so that you can put whichever one on. You can put it in whichever one you need. And on each one of the cutting boards, I tied some twine. I've got this glittery stuff. It's I got that from Tammy, and I put it on the leaves here on the outside, and on the flowers it's called Nouveau Mousse, and this color is called what is it called? I don't see a name. Mother of Pearl, that's what it's called. Okay, oh goodness. I'm trying, you guys. I hope I'm not grossing you out with all my sniffing. Okay, on the back side of this one, I have a little pouch here, and I don't know if this recipe will fit in there or not. Yeah, it will. And you have a pocket on the back of each one for recipes. Isn't that cute? I love the yellows and reds together. Then on the second one, this one came out of here. You see what I mean? Why I've got pop dots under here. This is 3 layers of cardstock, and then I've got 2 buttons, and it just took up so much room. But I just thought they looked so cute with all these different layers and colors together. And then on the back side we have another pocket And I had a die in my stash that cut out coffee cups, and this one has a little stir stick in it. So, and on the back of each of mine, I used some wood grain paper that I had in my stash. This did not come in the Craftology box, but you may have it in your stash as well. And I did put an eyelet in each one of the, and I used the crocodile for that. Then on the third one, I have recipe favorites up here. This is a window pocket. Let me see if I got a piece of scrap out here. There's a piece. And you have a double pocket here. You can put it here, and then you can put it behind the dark green. So you can get 2 recipes in there. And on the back of this one, we have another pocket. Now, I did not put any embellishments on this one because depending on what recipe you put in it, like this one's chicken spaghetti, you might want to put a chicken or some eggs or maybe a little egg basket, a wire basket. I mean, just look through your stash and see what you've got that might go with each one. And like this one, if you have recipes for different drinks, coffees and things, you might want to put coffees on, or you might want to type out 1 lump or 2. You know, just let your imagination carry you on through and make them really neat. Okay, here's the next one. This one is the pink background with the cherries and the ladies. And I love that one with the fridge because that was a popular color back then. And then you've got a place for your recipes here. And that is loose. It's supposed to, yes, it's loose. So you can get it up under there and up under here. Well, it is loose. I'm just out of hands because I have to keep dabbing at my nose. But anyway, I put the 2 little crisscross banners and another one of the cut-aparts that she had. And then on the back, I used the coffee cups again. And this one says, fresh from the oven, family favorite. I added another button. And this one is a breakfast casserole that I make every year at Christmas. And I always make it the night before and put it in the fridge. And then the next morning when the kids, I pop it in the oven with a cookie sheet full of biscuits. And by the time the kids are done opening their presents, breakfast is ready. And it's really, really good casserole. So that's that one. Then on this one, I love this yellow gingham paper. And there is room here for a recipe. And you can also tuck a small one behind here. These are the Scrabble tiles, like I used on the legs. I just painted the underneath side and glued the letter side to the bottom of it. This is another one of her cut-aparts. And on the back, I put Eat, Drink, and Be Merry. Another little folder or pocket, and the bowls and measuring spoons. Then on number 6, I left this blank because, you know, depending on what recipe you put on here, you might want to add a picture or a phrase or whatever to go along with it. I don't have all my recipes done yet, but I will fill it up. And then there's room under this banner, and this just says recipe favorites. And on the back, we have another pocket. There's a pocket on the back of every one of them. And this silver paper came with the kit, and I really like it. And the last one is the red check. You have room back here for 2 photos, or 2 if you want to. You can stick a small one up under here. I just added some leaves there. And on the back, I made a little banner with one of her cut-aparts. And then we have another pocket here. So this just, it's so pretty. I just love this paper. So I have another project in mind because I still have a lot of paper left. She was really generous with this collection. And most times when you buy a collection, it's just 1 sheet of each. But Tammy's actually including 3 of each design. So, oh goodness, excuse me. It's just really, you can do so much with these collections that she's got. So that is my project, my first project, using the What's Cookin' from Country Craft Creations. Those go in there, and these go in the back. And that's it. So I hope you enjoy this. I will have it posted for you sometime tomorrow on Saturday the 10th. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. There will be a tutorial following this walkthrough. I made a PDF on the shape of the cutting boards, and one of the ladies that follows Country Craft Creations said she would make an SVG for it once I post it, so that you can cut it out on your Cricut as well, or you can take the PDF and you can put it on the scan and cut, or you can cut it by hand. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Okay, for this project, the first thing you want to do is to cut your cutting board shapes, which I have cut out of lightweight chipboard, and I painted the edges of some of them white and some of them brown so that I can alternate them. Once you get that done, and there will be a template for you to help you with the size and shape of those, and I cannot add it to the cutting list because they're different type of documents and the cutting list will not accept it, but I can put it either in an email or on the Scrapper site. I'm going to try to put it in the description box below the cutting guide, but if that doesn't work, then I will just put it directly on Scrappers, because I know it works because I've sent it to myself in an email and it opens just fine. So you're going to attach these, the opposite side, to your score tape sheet, and it is a little bit longer, but you can use one of your scraps after we cut these edges out. If you put it this way, you're only going to get one out of a sheet. So if you do it this way, you can get two. That's why I turned it this direction. So you can put two on here, and then just take your craft knife and cut around it. Just like that. And then you'll see you can turn it over and use this piece up here at the top. And I'll catch that afterwards. And then we'll cut this one. And I had this wood grain paper in my stash. I decided to put wood grain on one side and the design paper on another. But you can do design paper on both sides. You can use solids, the my colors, whatever you want to use. It's just a matter of your own preference. And you can see I did put the red my colors on one of them. And once you get them cut out, if you have any rough edges, just take your sanding block and go around it like that. And then you can cover up a multitude of sins with your inks. I haven't inked any of them yet, but I am going to go around the edges of each of them with Vintage Photo. But I have this one so far, and it's white on the back. See, I've got a little to trim right here, and then I'll ink it. This red one has another wood grain on the back. Then I have this one with white, my favorite paper, the Cherry Pie, with wood grain on the back. And I have the birthday cake with aqua color. And I have this retro print with wood grain on the back. And then this red checked recipe paper with a lighter wood grain on the back. So I have those done so far. So let me see, did I cut this? Let's cut around this one. Okay. Now we need a piece of the scrap up here. Let me attach that up here. Just push it right up to the other one. Flip it over and trim it out. Now, if you're more comfortable with your scissors, you can go around this curvy part with your scissors, or just use your knife. It's a little bit harder to stay straight around this curvy edge, but I find with the knife and then the sanding block it works fine. There we go. Got it loose. And then, let me finish trimming this one out so I don't get this. Oh, that's wanting to peel up. I have to do my scissors along there. Okay. Let's put this over here. And we can use this on the back. Likes to catch a little bit on these curves. It's probably just me being a bumbler. Okay, there's that. Now you just do the same thing with your design paper. Let me pick out another sheet here that I haven't used so far. I haven't used this yellow. I used the opposite side of the yellow. I'm going to use the back side of it. So whichever side you want to show up needs to be face down. So let's peel this off. And we'll just line it up with the edges. Press it down. And cut it out. To go slow on the curves so I don't chop it up. Let's see. These little stragglers off here. Don't need those. Don't want it to pull. I don't know why it does that on the corners, but it does. There we go. Okay, there you go. Here's your cutting board. And like I said, just go over your edges with your sanding block, and then we'll touch them up with vintage photo. And what I intend to do is, once I embellish it, add my recipes. I want my recipes to be loose because I'm going to make a pouch to put them in with acetate sheets, so that when the user makes a recipe, she can put the recipe in the pouch, lay it on her countertop without it getting soiled, and then she can put it back in the, whether it be a pocket or a tuck spot or whatever, then she can put it back on the cutting board shape, and it'll always be clean. But I'm going to make a couple of the little pouches to go with it, so that if one of them ever gets damaged, they'll still have it back up. And we'll get to that after a bit. Alright, that's what we're going to do with these. I put on the cut list that I'm making 10. I actually ended up with 11, so I will finish with the last 3 that I have here, and I'll come back with you, and we'll make the container for them, and we'll embellish them, and we'll also put eyelets in the top with ribbons and trims. Alright, I will see you soon. Alright guys, I have covered all of my cutting board shapes, and I did take the red one off, the solid red one I had, and I replaced it. I just decided I wanted the print on all of them, so I ended up with 11, and they're solid on the back. Actually, they're like a barn board or wood grain. And then I have 2 pieces of 12 by 12 brown artisan, and I have just attached them. Right here is the seam, and this is the back of the box that's going to hold the cutting boards, and I don't want the seam to be where it's going to be obvious. I need to see that I need to trim this up a little bit. Let me grab my knife. And I have score tape on the back of each of my pieces. This one needs to be trimmed up a little bit on this edge. See if I have any more showing. A little bit right here. That looks pretty good. And I know this one has a little bit to trim off on this side. It should be it, I think. Okay. So what I want to do is, this is not wide enough for the full width of the box. So let me show you what I'm going to do. This is going to be the back, and I want my seam to be on the back near the bottom, so I'm going to move this down like this. That way it won't be so obvious, because we'll have a 3-inch side here, and that will kind of distract from it too. So the first thing I want to do is place the bottom piece, and this is going to be a side flap, and it's going to need a 1-inch. Let me make sure I'm in frame where you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to turn it this way so you can see. Let me see if that's better. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to place my 1-inch strip here, and this is going to be a side piece. This is going to be the back, and this is going to be the 2-inch bottom. So it's going to have to go like this and this, and then I'll have to add another piece over here to accommodate this, because these are going to fold up and make your box, and this will be the front of the box. So given that, I want my 1-inch spacer there. Make sure I'm in the right spot. Then I want my T-square ruler. I'm going to move the rest of these out of the way, and I'm going to put my T-square up here, and this is where I want my the bottom of my box to be. Goodness gracious. I trimmed my nails yesterday and I don't hardly have enough left to get a hold of it. So I'm going to T-square up here, and I'm going to lay this, giving myself just a little bit of an edge there, and that is the bottom of my box. Now for the side, I just want one chipboard width. So I'm going to keep my T-square there. And I'm going to place this in there. And then I'm going to put my side piece down. Whoops. Stay there. And that is not. Put it right up against that. And that gives me the right margin. So now I can remove this. And I want to place this piece. So I'm going to, looks like I got a little trim spot right here. Going to remove this backing. The same amount of space. I'm hoping I can judge it myself. Actually, I'm going to get my T-square and make sure I get it straight, and I'm going to put it along the bottom of this. And I'm going to give myself just a little bit of a gap. Just like that. Just a hair more, just like that. Oops. And it's not straight, is it? Darn it. Oh yes it is. It's straight. I thought I was off the beam there. Okay, so there's that one. Now we have this one, and that is not going to help me because I can't get close enough. See if I can't with this one either. Ugh. I'll just lay it along the edge like that. Actually, let me turn it over so it's flat. This will be the piece that folds over the front. I used my scraps for the back of this. Goodness gracious. I think I trimmed my nails too short. Okay, finally. Okay, that is straight. Got glue or something on my finger. Okay, we want just a small margin here. That like that. don't know if that's exactly straight. I hope it is. Okay. Now we need to mark a 1-inch margin all the way around. Let me get a pencil. And we know that this is 1 inch already. So we need an inch here. And an inch here. The way around. Kiwi, lay down. Behave yourself. Okay, so now we can cut all this extra off. So here, 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 and here. Actually, we need to leave this. We're going to cut on all of these pencil lines. And I'm going to do it with my knife. I'm going to cut all the way across from end to end so I can save that scrap. Because I may want it for a belly band or an embellishment or whatever. And when you get to where these two cross, leave that box because we're going to miter that. So we're going to trim. I have to move this up. That's where that seam is right there. Okay. Now let's score from there to here. And we'll do it the other way because I'm right-handed. He's hollering at his dog. Here, that one's out. Let's trim this down. This is the perfect 1-inch guide. I already get through that double thickness there. There, I'm through it. Turn it this way. that. Turn this off. Okay, now this one. That looks like it's over too far. It is. I'm going to take it off and move it. Although, I think I can make it work. Yeah, see, it needs to be moved over farther. I'm going to move it. Oh, I cut into that. I hope that doesn't, it didn't cut all the way through, thank God. My mistake. This needs to be mitered. Just want it to slide on me. I'll cut it with my scissors. It's easier. Okay. See, this one is, maybe I cut that too short, too narrow. Let me see. It's supposed to be 6. Oh, that's a little bit more than 6. It's a 6 1/8. And that's perfectly 6. Crud. Well, you know what? Rather than take it off, let me pause here a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, after you get all your pieces in place, you'll want to go around the edges all the way around each piece and in these little folds with your bone folder just to break down the fibers. Then we'll go around, roll each of the sides all the way around and press them down with your bone folder. Get nice straight edges. And then we'll cut out these corners just like we do on the when we're building a mini album cover. Now I like to add 1/2" score tape to the outside edge of my cardstock. Some people use all glue for this. Some people use all tape. I like a combination of the two. But you can do it however you want to do it. Now this piece we're going to cut out completely. We don't need it. So I'm going to put some score tape on this little edge. I think I went over my edge there a little bit. And a lot of these pieces, especially in the inside, we can put our design paper on it before we glue it together. That makes it kind of a lot easier. Now I should not have cut in here, but I did. But it's going to be okay because we're going to wrap it around. We're going to make it be okay. There. Push it together. I don't want to catch that. Getting close to the end of this roll. And I want to go just a little bit beyond that score line there. So when I trim it off, when I cut out the corner, I don't have to trim that again. And the same thing with this top edge. Okay. Now, let's take out this little piece here, because this is going to slide up under and be our other side pocket. So we're going to cut it off right with the chipboard. Again, doesn't want to come out. Let me get in there with my scissors and take it out. There we go. And let's go around here, take these corners out, and then we'll clean them up just like we do on a cover. Okay, let's check this corner. And this one, trim it up. That one a little bit short. I think it should be okay though, because when I fold this in, little tiny spot shows, but that's where your good markers come in handy. I just want to barely trim this up. That. Just straighten them up a little bit. Okay. For this piece, it doesn't make any difference which one you trim out. You just need to take out all four corners. Now one of them will fold down for the top, which we need to check these little edges. Straighten those up a little bit. And the other one will slide right up under here like that. With these same little gusset or whatever you want to call it. It does my glue. Oh, here it is. Ugh. Been a snake, it bit me. So let's trim this up just a hair. Get rid of those little fold lines so it lays down nice and neat. Oh, my pen's stuck. Yeah. And I'm just going to do glue on this. And we're going to slide it right up under there. Match it up with this one. Slide it in there. It should be perfect. Let me get my baby wipe in there. Okay, now we need a piece of Hush, Kiwi. Never fails, does it? This is some teenagers out there revving his engine. Gets Kiwi all bent out of shape. Try to keep rid of my trash. Alright. Now we can roll these sides in. He's about to have a fit. Ran to the back door like he thinks somebody's coming in. These kids would quit. They like to run up and down the road, acting silly. Run that along your edges. Roxy, that's enough. Quit your whining. I'm getting all the puppy sound effects today. And we'll get to this side. Kiwi, that's enough. Okay, now what's going to happen, these are going to come in this is going to wrap around and this is going to stand up, and then we'll fold these in and you'll have your box. And that will hold our recipes. Okay, so what do I want to do first? I think I want to trim this up. I haven't done that yet. Okay, let's attach that. And we'll do the same over here. Huey, goodness gracious, he's on a roll. It's the slightest noise and just sets him off. Let me turn this off a little here. It definitely needs it. This design paper is going to cover the edges. See this one a little bit. Okay, I can see where I've got that double, it's wanting to crack a little. So I'm going to put just, and I don't normally have that problem with the Artisan, but for some reason I think it's really dry. I'm going to take my finger and rub just a little glue over it, and that should solve the problem. Normally it does if I have a problem. Although I don't normally have a problem with it. Alright, now I need to trim these because there's too much bulk in here. Just take a little smidge out. This will wrap around. This will fold down. Actually can take a little bit more off of this. Let me see if I need any more off of this one. No, it's okay. It's going to be okay. Huey, that is enough. Goodness gracious. He is a noisemaker. These I will just add glue to these flaps here because they're going to attach in here and here. Let me get my marker and I'll be right back. Okay. I have added my paper to the back. I used the cherry pie paper and I used the artisan cream color behind it. And as you know, I had this one little place that wanted to crack. But once I wrap this around, that's going to be inside the pocket, so it's never going to show. But I did run a little glue there to keep it from cracking anymore, and it's worked out just fine. So what I want to do is, and I added the aqua tint to the inside, and I have a piece cut for here, which goes on after I close up the pocket. Now I cut a piece for the back, but I can't put it on until I wrap this around the back. So what I want to do, this goes around to the side. This is going to come up like this, wrap to the back, and wrap to the front. And you want to make sure that your corners are matching. Now this needs to sit on top of this to make it match. Not in front of it, but on top of it. So we're going to do it like this. I'm going to add my glue here. Left my pin out too long. Let me run my needle down in there. Add my glue here. I want to make sure I get plenty of glue in there because I don't want this little turkey coming undone. Get back in there. Oops, I'm knocking my clothespins on the floor. I want to stand this up and bring this up to the corner and make sure that you're getting a nice square corner. Push it in as much as you have to. And then once you've got it where you want it, peel this backing off. If I had more nails, it'd be easier. I'm going to tip it over just a little bit so I can get some white glue in here, because I don't want there to be an air pocket where it's not connected. Push it in there tight, and then bring this around and pull it so that you get a nice edge. A really nice seal. Get my I'm going to put some clothespins in here, just for safety's sake. And we've got a nice corner all the way down. Oh, I'm knocking stuff on the floor, guys. Oh, let me pick it up. Okay, and we're going to go around to the opposite side and do the same thing. Remember, I accidentally cut this, but it'll be okay. It isn't going to hurt a thing. I'm going to bring this back, and I'm going to add some glue here. And I'm going to bring this up and make my corner. Pull it in as tight as I can get it. Press those down on the inside. And then I will pull this off. And add my glue here. If it squishes out, I'll clean it off. I'll push it together as you wrap it. I got my score tape hanging out, but that's okay because I'm going to cover it. Some clips there to hold that. And then these will wrap around to the back. I'm going to let these two front ones dry before I add the back. And I did put some check on the bottom too. Isn't that cute? And I'm going to use my Craftology to set an eyelet up here. I'll punch the hole and set the eyelet so that I can dangle some ribbons and charms from there. And like I showed you, there's a magnet back here. Oops, it's backwards. Let me put a piece of score tape behind it so it doesn't stick. And we're going to have a piece magnetized there. So I'm going to let this set up for a few minutes, and I'll glue these in place, and I'll be back and we'll put the back side together. Oops, but you can see that seam is going to be hidden completely. Alright, I'll be back shortly. Alright, we are embellishing the box right now. I have added 2 charms on some twine, and I've just wrapped it to the back through that eyelet that we made, and I have secured it with some score tape, and I'm going to cut these strings off, and we're going to hide it here in a minute. Like that. Then on the front of the box, for the magnet area, I'm going to put this doily so that it off hangs just a little bit. So I am going to put my magnet over here. You see, that's the side that sticks, yes. Okay. And I want it to be off to the side a little bit so that it hangs off. So about there. So let me put my thumb back there. And I need to secure it with a piece of score tape. See where there it is. Actually, I want to put it on the front so that I can hide it. So I want it like that. Just like that. So we're going to tape it down here and here. Oops, don't knock it over. And now I'm going to add a craft colored circle to it. And I've got that kind of close to the edge, so I hope it covers it. I think it will. I hope. I left the glue open too long. I'm good at that. Or bad at it, however you want to look at it. Place that so that a little bit of the hole shows up there. And I got a big boo-boo on my hand. I covered it with a Band-Aid so you don't have to look at it. Okay, there's that. That's going to go there. Then I'm going to attach the cherry pie to that. Did I ink it? Yes, I did. And I just cut this out of the design paper. And I want it to be like so. And I'm going to take it off so that my glue doesn't stick to the backing till it dries. I pretty much covered up the tan. And then I've got a pie here. And I want to ink around the edge of that. Another piece that I just kind of cut out. Because of where the pie was here on the edge, I'm going to add a pie to that. But I can only glue half of it. And sop up the extra glue. And we'll let that dry for a minute before I put it on there. But that'll go on there like that. Oops. Don't want it to catch yet. So let me lay that to the side. Now down here on the front, I made a flower. And I used, where's my bow punch? I was going to show you the bow punch. Oh, here it is. This is an old punch that I've had in my stash for a long time. Cuts out all the pieces of a bow. And I just used this piece here. I cut a 1-inch strip and just slipped it under here. I've still got that mousse all over me. And I cut out several little pieces. And I made this little flower. And I'm going to put this here with Life is What You Bake It. And then I'm going to add some leaves to it. And these I just cut out with some dies I had in my stash. And then I have this pearl mousse that I got from Tammy. And I'm going to put some leaves up under here. Kind of hide the edges of it. Here's another one. And I used the mousse on the leaves and on the little bow or flower. And I'm going to put that there, and I'm kind of toying with the idea of whether to add another leaf and a cherry over here or not. It says Life is What You Bake It. And I'm thinking I'm going to add that with a pop dot. So that's my game plan for that. Actually, let's go ahead and put it down. I want to put this on a couple of pop dots. Actually, I think I'll use 4. Roxy's mad because they went out to dinner. You can probably hear her fussing. She's in the room and she's an unhappy girl. She wants out. Okay, this is going to go here. Roxy, that's enough. She said, no, it's not. So I'm going to put that right there. And we'll glue this leaf down. So it goes up underneath. Get it like that. Okay. Now, let me get a couple pop dots for this little flower. Maybe 3 on this one. And I'm going to make another one of these little flowers to go on the back. But I'm going to use the yellow gingham. And I'll show you we'll make that together. This is going to go right here. Life is what you make it. And I used one of Tammy's buttons in the middle. And I'm just going to stick it up under the flower and let it kind of float free. And then this one will go down below. Just like that. Okay. So that is that. Now up at the top, I made a little bow using that same bow maker, and I have a couple of, I secured the little ribbon strips with some score tape, and then I added 2 pop dots. Excuse me. I'm going to put this bow up here, and then I'm going to cut off the stems. Goodness, I think I need to go get a drink of water. And I'm going to attach these up underneath the ribbons. Goodness gracious, I can't quit that. And one more. And this one's going to go right here. There we go. Okay, let me see if this is dry enough to put on. It is. It's going to go there. So that's going to be the front of it. Let me take a quick break and go get a drink of water for this scratchy throat, and I'll be right back. Okay, for the little flower, I have cut a circle that is about 1 1/4, almost 1 1/2. It's a little bit more than 1 1/4. And then I have some of these pieces that I showed you, and they're just like this. And if you'll just kind of curve it with your fingers, or you can use a bone folder, put a little dot of glue on one end, pinch it together, and I put a clothespin on it, let it sit up for a couple minutes. And I've got one more. I don't know how many I'm going to need because this flower's smaller than the other one. So kind of curl it a little bit, pinch it together, and a clothespin. So we just want to start adding these to the circle. Oh, I just knocked one off with my sleeve, I think. No, that was my leaves. Don't want to lose my leaves. Got so many little pieces up here. Okay. I'm going to put one opposite. Like that. And I think I can put 2 in this. Yeah. Let's put 2 in there. Just have to kind of play it by ear. And I'm going to put a red button in the middle of this one. Move this one over just a little bit. Let's put 2 more over here. This one needs to be loosened it up. I'll probably need to give it more time to dry before I keep stacking on top of it, but for a tutorial, I need to keep moving. Put this one in here. Now we can do a second layer and just alternate them. These are going to come right into the middle, so we won't need a very huge button. Probably only going to take 4 in the middle. Wanting to stick to my finger. Take my bone folder and hold it down for a minute so it'll quit sticking to me. I need to find a red button. I don't know if this has got any big enough in it. It might have. Yeah, I think there's one right there that I can use. This one came, I think it was with the last Craftology box. I'm not sure. I know it did come from Tammy though. Put some glue on it. And put it right down in the middle. Hold it down with my bone folder for a second. I have to give it a little bit of time to set up there. And that is going to go on the back up here. And there'll be some leaves around it. And then there's going to be a pocket at the bottom, which is going to hold our acetate pockets. Which, let me lay this aside till it dries. Which, will hold our recipes. Now I'll show you one of the recipes that I've got ready. And it's going to go like this. I just printed my recipe and I put the bottom piece down, then I scored it, and then I put the top piece and just used the art glitter glue to attach it. Then I'm going to fold it like that. And this one is a cherry pie recipe. So I'm going to put just a little bit of vintage photo around it. Add that to the white. And that's going to go in the center of this flap. Just like that. Then I have these cherries I cut out. And I'm not going to pop it up because it's going to go, like I said, in that acetate folder so that you can lay it on the countertop and keep it from getting dirty. And that's going to go right there. So that's the cherry pie recipe. And each of the cutting board shapes will be pretty similar. On this one, I cut out the Baked with Love, and I'm going to put some pop dots behind it. Two at the bottom. And two up along the side. And I'm going to put this right here so that I can tuck the recipe, so I can tuck the recipe behind it, like that, and that'll help hold it down. And then I typed, "Oh my cherry pie," and I had this die, but it cut the center out, and I didn't want it cut out. So what I'm going to do is piece that back in there and add a little score tape to it. I need my, don't know where the narrow is. I'll just cut some small pieces. But I want to secure it back in there so it stays together. And I want to put the "Oh my cherry pie" on top of it. And we're going to pop that up. And I'm going to put one in the center so it stays nice and straight and doesn't cave in the center. I'm going to put that right here. I don't want it to hang over the edge. There we go. So that's the front of that one. Then we've got our hole for twine. Isn't that pretty? I really like this idea. Then on the back, there's going to be a pocket. And there's going to be a pocket on the back side of each one of these cutting boards. And did I ink that? Yes, I did. The pocket measures 5 by 3.5, and you're going to punch it opened out at 2 inches. Then you cut this one just slightly smaller, and I think I wrote it. It is 4 by 2 7/8, and you'll punch it at 1 3/8. And there's going to be a pocket on the back of each one so that we can put more recipes in there. And then we'll have embellishments up here as well, and then we'll have our twine. So I think that it's going to turn out really, really pretty. But they will stack up inside there. And I have intended to make 10. I actually have 11. I don't know if all 11 will fit, but if it does, I'll put them in there. But that is my game plan. That's what I'm doing so far. And I will be back with you shortly, and we'll finish up the back. There is going to be a accordion pocket at the bottom, and I have it cut out. It is 8 by 4.5, and it is scored one long end and a half, and then on each short end it's scored 3 times, half, 1, and 1.5. Then on the opposite side, half, 1, and 1.5. And this will be our accordion pocket for the back. And let me show you. There will be 2 or 3 of these little folders, and I've only put this one together so far with the foam. And what happens is you take your recipe off. Oh, that wants to stick. You take your recipe off of the get my glue eraser out. Got a little bit of the foam. And you can open out your recipe and put it in a little pocket. If I can see what I'm doing. Slide it in the pocket like this. Oh, that's catching. That way you can lay it on the counter, see your recipe, and keep it clean. I did cut some strips. Oh, they're right here. I have an extra charm that I didn't use yet. I'm going to add these strips to the side to cover the foam. And all of the recipes won't be printed on the same size, so I'll make more pockets to hold other sides. And this goes on the bottom. And I'll give you the measurements for these also. But that is the plan. So I will be back with you shortly. Hi everyone. I am back, and we're going to try to get through the last of this tutorial. Excuse me, I have gotten a horrible head cold, and I'm going to try to finish this up. Don't have a cough, but I've been sneezing and been very congested. My granddaughter said I sound like I've been crying. That's not the case. I've just got a terrible head cold. But the bad news about this whole thing is I used so many pop dots that I could only get 7 in the box. And I had made 10. So I'll have to make another one to use the other 3. But, or, you know, you could put another box along the bottom for the last 3. But what I'm going to do with mine is I made this accordion, and it is on your cut list. It is, I think it's 8. Let me measure it. Yes, it's 8 by, excuse me, 4.5. It's scored on one long end at a half, and then on both shorter ends it's scored at a half, 1, and 1.5. Then you'll rotate it, do a half, 1, and 1.5. And you'll accordion fold these so that the third one faces in. And I just slightly mitered the top so I don't have any overhang. And then we'll attach these. I do want to miter those just a touch right here. And we'll put a little dot of glue on there to hold those down. Now I have to attach these off camera because I'm going to have to hold on to them. I can't really put it face down because of that flower on the front that I made. So I'm going to have to hold it with my hands. And I don't want to make you guys stand here forever while I do that. Let me get a couple of clothespins here. recipe everywhere. Okay. Yes, I've got the snuffies today. Okay. That is going to go along the back, and then I've just added a couple of little fishtail banners up there. One says family favorites and the other one says best recipe ever. Excuse me, I have to keep from having the drippy nose. Let me get a drink here. Okay. Now, for these, on the cards, let me set this back here. Like each of the recipe cards, I don't have a recipe card in each one of them just yet. I will eventually. But when you take the recipe out, I want to be able to lay it on the counter without it getting soiled. So I made these little sleeves out of acetate. So you can put your recipe on the countertop. And you can see the ingredients and the directions. And it's also open on the back so that if you have a longer recipe, you'll be able to turn it over and see all your directions. So, oh, excuse me. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I can't help it. Just keeps happening. Okay, so let's put this one back in here. And I'll go through all of these cards on the walkthrough. But I wanted to show you how to make this first one. Is 7 by 3.5, and I just notched the very top. Oh my goodness. And I wanted to show you how I made them. Oh my goodness, I can't quit snuffing. Clean my hands. Okay. I have 2 pieces of acetate here. These are 4 by 4.5. And I've notched the top, and I've just added 1/4-inch strips of double-faced foam, or double-sided adhesive foam, and I'm going to peel off the backer. These are real quick and easy to do. Just peel off that backer. Now I had to cut the foam strips myself. I know you can purchase them already cut, but what I had was 1-inch strips, so I just cut it in 1/4-inch lengths, and you're just going to match up your corners here like that. And then we'll take these strips, and these are 1 1/8 inch wide, and you'll score it at 1/2 inch. Then you'll turn it around and score it 1/2 inch on this side. That leaves you an 1/8 inch gusset, which is perfect for this. And you'll just add your score tape. Where's my score tape? Goodness, oops, this is running over. Let me get my pen back in there. I just can't stay ahead of this nose. Just keeps it dripping. I am so sorry, but I wanted to get this done because it's going to take me some time to get it uploaded. And I had promised that I would have it ready on the 10th. And it's going to be uploaded for you. But the only way I can get it ready is to finish up this tutorial right now. So let's get this 1/4 inch on here. Get it as close to the edge as you can. And get it very straight. There we go. And this is, I think this is a full 12-inch piece. This is just the red artisan cardstock. And let me cut it. And then you want to run it down the other side so that we can hear it on the front and the back. Okay. Now we want to start peeling this backing off. And we're going to put it right in here. And I'm going to put it down from the top just a little bit so that I can trim it off. And I'm going to stick it down. And then I'm going to cut it off down here. A little bit thick. And then I want to trim it off at the top just a little bit because my score tape didn't go all the way to the top. So I want to make sure it's stuck. Now we'll peel off this piece. And wrap it around so that it matches the front. Like that. And see if this is a smaller, that's a longer one. I've got a short one in here somewhere. What did I do with it? Oh, there it is. Chicken spaghetti. Yeah. There we go. Just stick it down in there. This will hold several different sizes. There's your ingredients. And there's your directions on the back. So you can put all sizes in here. So that's all there is to it. Now I'll do a strip here and a strip here. And then these two will be housed in the back in this little accordion. And it will fit on the back here. And then I'll have a piece of design paper on there. But that's how that'll work. Alright? I hope you're all seeing that. But I will do a walkthrough here as soon as I add these pieces on there for you, and I'll be right back. Alright? But this is the end of the tutorial. Be sure that if you have any questions or concerns or issues as you put yours together, just send me a message. I'm more than happy to help you in any way that I can. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll be back shortly so that you can see the completed walkthrough before you start cutting your pieces.